Welcome everybody to a brand new video. It's Dante here. Today we're going to be going through the top 5 TeamSport track layouts that no longer exist. Now, TeamSport has undergone a lot of changes over the last few years. A lot of it's been a rebrand, changes from petrol to electric. Now, I did do all the tracks 5 years ago, and most of them are different now. We're going to talk about the small changes, where the track has changed only a little bit. Maybe it's changed the rhythm of the track, the flow, the ability to overtake. And we're also going to talk about the big changes as well, where I think we have lost some really good tracks. And yeah, so let's begin. And the first track we're going to discuss is Warrington. Now, Warrington is an important one to talk about because it hosts the British Indoor Karting Championship National Final, and it has done ever since the start of the series in 2020. So when there were changes, especially when they went from petrol to electric, they took away a certain section, or let's say converted it, because it used to be there used to be space, but then they needed chargers for the electric karts. That obviously took away from the track a little bit, but it actually took away a few overtaking opportunities, which we're going to discuss right now. It used to be quite physical with the petrol karts, so I really enjoyed the challenge, which is such a shame it doesn't exist anymore. But you used to come out of this corner and then go underneath this bridge here, and quick change to the left hand side, opens up to a nice hairpin before going up the hill for the bridge, and that's completely changed now. As you can see, when you come round here, you've got the pit lane instead to the right now, and you just go straight onto the bridge. So you actually lose quite a few overtaking opportunities. You first lose going underneath the bridge here, quick change to the left. Really needed precision driving through here because it was quite dark. You had to get as close as you could to the barrier, and again, a traditional overtaking opportunity here taken away now. And also, just because of the way you come out of that previous corner onto the bridge, the driver actually loses more time by coming over to the left. It becomes more inviting. So yeah, it's a shame that we've lost those sort of areas. Again, these are kind of small changes which I think have lost a little bit the momentum of the track, but either way, it's still a brilliant track. So the next track we're going to talk about is Crawley. Now, Crawley is one of my favourite tracks, absolutely. 3 floors, plenty to love, plenty to talk about. Most of the changes came from the transition from petrol to electric, pretty much like every track on this list, to be honest. I used to love this spiral section here. To be honest, none of this stuff has changed. It's all been quite similar. It's just really the bottom floor and the middle floor that has changed a little bit here, and I just think it's taken away a little bit the ability to overtake in certain areas. You can see in modern day, you go straight into a quick left, into a quick right, but not really a good overtaking opportunity. It gets quite tight there. But otherwise, before, as you can see here, it used to go into a hard hairpin left, sliding on the slippery surface, and then carrying more speed into this bottom corner, which meant a higher chance of running wide and a better chance of completing a cutback on someone. Then you're thrown into these hairpins a lot quicker. There seems to be more rhythm. There's just more going on, less time to relax, and that's an important thing. I like the physical challenge of always being busy, always doing something. But yeah, really good opportunity here on the bottom floor for overtaking. And yeah, it was quite difficult to defend these areas constantly. I think this was a 60-minute race this footage is from. But yeah, going up this hill straight into another right-hander. But again, the changes were made because of the pit lanes, and they needed more space for electric chargers. So that's just how it is. That's how it is with a lot of these circuits now. You know, a lot of them are changing to electric. A few are still petrol, which is good. I think it's good for TeamSport to have varying kart types, and both with Biz and Sodi as well. So they're doing a good job with that. Just a few changes really, which I think have taken away some racing opportunities, especially as Crawley's are already a very good track layout, and you want these tracks to stay very good and highly rated. You can see in modern day, it's just nothing you can really do on the bottom floor anymore. It's just single file, and because of the less speed going through this bottom corner, more difficult to do a cutback, and just more straight, and you can still do overtakes like that and not have to pay the price because of the torque of the electric karts up the hill. So it still kind of works, but otherwise still a great track here at Crawley. Okay, now we are on to Reading. Always been one of my favourite tracks, has Reading. Always had a nice flow to it. Again, 3 floors, which is a massive bonus, and another reason why it falls into this video, because when a track is really good, the last thing you want to do is just make it just good. I think it had a really good rhythm before. Now here you can kind of see it's just a lot of straights leading into a hairpin, but before you used to be a bit more busy on the wheel, turning a little bit more, setting up your corners a little bit more, and you can see now with the petrol karts. So I just used to love it, you know. Any mistake you used to make used to be punished a lot more, you know. With the electric karts, especially with the boost button, you can make up for any mistakes. But here, when you're coming down the ramp going straight into a hard left, so quite a decent challenge, because especially for non-experienced drivers as well, because you're having hard acceleration into a tight left. So I've seen a lot of people go in the wall there. Maybe that influenced the decision, I don't know. But yeah, I just think there's a better flow to the bottom floor, and that's kind of where all the changes happened. Again, if you just kind of compare it to the modern day, it's just kind of sitting in a straight line, waiting for the following corner to come up, sitting in a straight line, again just waiting for the corner to come up before doing exactly the same thing on the next straight. It just becomes a bit more just hairpin land, and before there was a few more weird angled corners and a bit more rhythm to it, which I think is a shame. Everything else still stayed the same, so I still enjoy the track nonetheless. I mean, Reading's still absolutely up there. The Sodi electric kart's one of my favourite karts as well, but you just used to be a little bit more busy, and it just took a little bit more skill than it did. You know, you didn't get a lot of time to kind of think or breathe. It was a bit more physical as well. I remember doing this track when it was really hot, and yeah, some of the best indoor races that I did for sure. But a great track nonetheless here at Reading. And now we're moving on to Newcastle. We're getting into the big changes now, and well, oh my god, as I get done by a TeamSport kitted out driver, I didn't think I'd ever see the day, been royally mucked off. Brilliant. Anyway, Newcastle's changed a lot of big straights, as you can see here, a lot of space to play with, but oh my god, has Newcastle changed a lot to what it did in the petrols. This track, like, you used to be able to do the full track even on a normal session. Now in the normal sessions you're on a shortened version of a track, and the members track is a little bit longer, but it's still not the same. You've got this spiral here, you're just kind of leading onto a lot of straights. It just feels like a speedway, whereas the Newcastle, the petrol version, if you have a look here, where we just come out the spiral, instead of going off and going on an aimlessly long straight, instead going to a strange right into a weird left, and just these weird angled corners just make the track so enjoyable. Newcastle had to be one of the best tracks that I had ever driven in terms of indoor in the UK. Instead of going again into a long flat out section, we've instead been thrown straight into a few hairpins, so actually a little bit more skill required. And again, going into here now, it's fast paced corners right on the edge, especially when it's a bit slippery, really dictated by the tyre walls on the edge here. Again, going up the hill into a fast left here, trying not to smash into the tyres on the right before a fast flowy left where it tightens on the exit. I mean, this is such a good track. Then down the hill onto a change of surface, trying to manage the sliding while still keeping it tight, then opening up the spiral. I mean, this track is just so much better than today's version, and it's such a shame to lose this kind of flow. Again, it's combat karts kind of nicked part of the track, which is a shame. But you can see here the difference in the spiral. Again, coming around to the left, instead of shooting off to the right like we used to, we just sit on a long straight and go into a traditional hairpin. You know, and we're in the opposite direction as well. Not that that really changes much, but yeah, I mean, at least there's still a lot of space here at Newcastle, and it's still quite nice to drive again with a nice electric karts. But it's just a lot of sitting around, just waiting for the motor to pick up. And again, through here, instead of going straight into a hairpin left, you're just flat out. You know, these electric karts top out very easily. So yeah, I think a bit of a downgrade, a massive change here at Newcastle. It is a shame. Finally, we're going to be going on to TeamSport Preston. Now, this track massively changed, and obviously it all kicked off when there was a massive fire at this track and it shut the track down, and then they transitioned from that moment onwards into electric and completely split the tracks up. So this is a mega floor track. This is the new version, obviously the electric. Thank you to Benji for letting me use his clip for this, as I've not done it myself, but I can see very clearly it is not the same track that it used to be. You can see the lap is already over and it's only on 2 floors, just a couple of hairpins, and that's basically it. But it used to be so much different, guys. If you have a look here, crossing the line straight into a hairpin, then you're kind of moving off into the left here and then going into this right-hander down the ramp into a section of the track that they do not use anymore, apart from as a beginner circuit and for combat karts. This is what this section is now used for. So everything you're seeing here is not even part of the track anymore, and I thought the bottom 4 section was actually the best bit of the track. You had a weird surface going on, the kart was doing all sorts of things, weird angled corners, I loved it. And then you go up a floor flat out, and then you're going to go up another floor. It just felt like a really big track and lots of space, and I think the lap times were like 56, 57 seconds, so it's a long lap. Quite dark up here, obviously with my old camera as well, not very good night vision, but nonetheless you get the idea that there's just so much more space. And I think this was a real loss. Even down here, going downhill, instead of going straight to a hairpin, you actually go off to the right, then go into a left. There's just so much more character to this track, but now you can see here on Benji's onboard, you just go straight into a hairpin, and it's not really anything. If you're good at hairpins, you'll be good at this track. It's just characterless. I think that's the biggest thing here. It's characterless. You know, I'm not trying to sound critical of TeamSport, because they do a lot for me, as much as I do a lot for them. And I absolutely love the brand, but these sort of changes just made it a bit upsetting, really. I mean, luckily Preston and Newcastle at the top here, as I nearly get thrown into a wall, they're very far away from me, so I actually felt the change the least. But I just think, like, look at this track. This could easily host a national final. Just the standard, the quality of it, the talent required to be able to nail all these corners is massive. It's changed a lot. And but you know, TeamSport is still opening up more venues, and I think High Wycombe was a real highlight as to what they could do. But yeah, thank you very much, guys, for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. You know, some really good tracks there. Warrington, you know, I think it's just a case of it lost the overtaking opportunities, but it's still a cracking track, and they're still doing more work to it now. Reading is still excellent, just a reprofiled bottom floor, which I think just loses the rhythm a little bit. You also had Crawley, which is still a great track. It's still free floor. It's just really Newcastle where you kind of lost a lot, and then Preston, of course, as you saw there, massive changes. But thank you very much for watching the video. Leave a thumbs up. Let me know if you have a different opinion, if you think there's other tracks which should have been on this list. And thank you for watching, and take care, and see you soon.